it's Karkarov. It is April the 11th, and this is Legend of Grimrock. How is everybody doing? So this is going to be the start of my new Let's Play for Legend of Grimrock, go figure. This is a dungeon crawler style RPG made in the vein of many classic dungeon crawlers, such as Dungeon Master, the dungeon crawler that got me into the entire scene to begin with, and one of my favorite old school games, by the way. It's been put out by Almost Human, which is basically just four really cool guys who made a lot of, well, I should say, I should not say made, but have contributed to a lot of really cool games in the past. And they kind of came together to do this one because this is something they wanted to do. They love old school dungeon crawler style RPGs like Dungeon Master, and Eye of the Beholder, and Lands of War, and so on and so forth. So this is kind of something they want to do for a long time, and there's a lot of big fan push behind this as well. Last I knew, this was the top-selling game on GOG.com, oldgames.com, and for good reason. But anyway, that's enough about that silly stuff. For those who don't know what a dungeon crawler is, first off, shame on you. Secondly, a dungeon crawler is essentially, for the most part, is only a first-person perspective, as the screen here implies, where you are literally taking either an individual or a party of individuals through a dungeon one floor at a time and working your way through it to completion. In this case, the dungeon is Grimrock, Mount Grimrock. As you can see here, there's actually a left and right key. For right now, there's nothing there, but like the little tooltip says, with expansions, they will eventually add other dungeons. Also, they're working on a map editor as we speak that will enable additional maps to be created by players, you know, for other people to play through. That's cool. Difficulty, pretty straightforward. I'm just going to go for normal. There's three. There's hard, easy, normal. I'm just going to play normal. These two are kind of interesting. First off, I'm going to admit to a little foible. I have in fact played the first floor of this dungeon already. I recorded that footage, went through it all, got ready to edit it, post it, and all that that entails. And I did it with old school mode enabled. Old school mode is essentially auto map is turned off. That's all it really is. And while I love making my own maps, and it gives a real old school feel, as the old school mode name implies, to this particular game, having to do all the mapping myself on graph paper with pencil and so on is pretty time consuming. And I just noticed in my video I had a very large amount of downtime where I was really just spending more time drawing on paper and staring at a blank wall than I was actually playing the game. And while that's really fun for me, you can't see me making the map, and that's something that's fun on my side but not fun for a viewer. And I want this to be cool for everybody, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave the auto map running. I decided against it. This is just what it is. Create characters. You can either come in with a pre-built party, or you can make your own party. I'm going to make my own party. So first off, as we see here, you can name your characters. Of course, the primary party leader, the main man, has to be Karkarov, because that's me. And yeah, I want to start off with just a human fighter. There's only three classes. You've got fighter, mage, rogue. Rogues, of course, being stealthy little ninja bastards. Mages being dudes who cast spells, and fighters being dudes who hit you in the face really hard. Of course, you've got four races. You've got humans. What's cool about humans is they get the most skill points. Skill points are what's spent over here. We'll go into that in a little bit. You've got minotaurs. Other than that, humans don't really have an advantage. You've got minotaurs, which obviously make the best fighters. They've got the high strength and the high starting vitality. But they have some other deficits too. For example, they only start with one skill point. Also, their food consumption is plus 20%. Yes, you have to manage your party's food intake. Your party will get hungry and start to starve and so on and so forth. Minotaurs have to eat 20% more often than other people do. So that's kind of an effect as well. Then you've got lizardmen. One of their racial benefits is they look like they belong in an episode of Star Trek. Therefore, if you ever run into Captain Picard in the dungeon, they'll be able to communicate with him thoroughly. Like this guy, I can see him, holding a conversation with Spock, doing the little Vulcan, little long prosper sign. But also lizardmen get plus dexterity and a little hit to the willpower. They get 3 skill points, so they're really not that much different from humans. One thing I find interesting, I'll tell you about that in a second, is this though, insectoid. What's cool about insectoids is there's this thing over here called traits, and I didn't mention this on Minotaurs, but I will in a minute. Traits kind of enhance your character in different ways, and every character can have 2 traits. Insectoids can have sort of like an armored carapace thing, which is kind of funny to me because lizardmen cannot have the same thing. So insectoids have like these, you know, an insect carapace, these scales, you know what I mean, you know what an insect is. Well, lizardmen have scales and stuff too, but they can't have the natural armor trait. I just find that a little funky. But lizardmen apparently make the best rogues because they have really good, they have good dex. I mean, they start 12 and all that. Now, insectoids, as you can see, make pretty shitty fighters. Even if they get the natural armor thing as a trait, which they can, they start with the lowest strength and vitality scores, but they make the best spellcasters. Also, they have another advantage of only being down to 3 skill points, as opposed to like the Minotaur who's down all the way to 1. And they have 15% less food consumption, so they don't have to eat as much food. A lot of people have complained that this is silly because insects are supposed to live 50 billion times their weight, right? So why are they so weak in strength? I don't know, so sue me. Why do lizardmen not get natural armor bonuses in the traits? It doesn't matter, it's all a game. So now we're going to actually make our first character, which is going to be Karkarov, the human fighter. First off, we're going to look at the skills. Each skill has a different effect. You actually can't see hardly any of them here, but based on your skill level, you get different bonuses, and at certain levels, like their athletics, at 5 points, you get 2 vitality. Every one of these skills, I don't know what the max skill number is off the top of my head, but they go up really high, and there's a lot of bonuses that you don't see there. But obviously athletics, armors, they're going to be important to a warrior fighter. Then you've got 4 different ones that are all about different weapons. I don't see an advantage to putting points in swords and maces or swords in the arm. You know, if you're a sword guy, you're going to use a sword, you know what I mean? So I think for a fighter, it would probably be best to just choose one of these and then go with, you know, those 2. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1 in swords, 1 in athletics, 1 in armors. I'm actually not going to put 2 in armors. I'm going to put 2 in athletics. Yeah, that's a good start. For traits, I'm going to pick aggressive because aggressive, you're full of rage. Yeah, that sounds accurate for a guy named Karkarov, full of rage. If you've watched my Dark Souls videos, you know that too. And I'm also going to pick evasive because if you've also watched my Dark Souls videos, you know dodging is better than blocking a lot of the time. Even though I'm kind of suck at dodging Dark Souls for whatever reason. I was really good at it in Demon Souls though. So we're going to pick aggressive and evasive. And now to distribute these points. Let's go ahead and take 1 away from there. 15 strength, 12 dexterity, and 14 vitality. That's good. That's a good deal. The next prisoner. Now my next prisoner is obviously going to have to be a Minotaur fighter, even though I hate cow people. What with having to deal with them all the time in World of Warcraft, and yes, I play Horde. And when I first saw this image, I have to admit, only one thing came to mind. That's right, a particular song. Samuel Jackson. He's a bad motherfucker. That's right, I'm going to have Shaft, the Minotaur. Not Shaft from the Castlevania games. You know, Shaft, the detective who goes around beating the hell out of people because they touched him on the shoulder and has sex with a different woman every night. Come on, guys. I'm just talking about Shaft. You're damn right. For those of you who can't handle Shaft-related humor, you might want to stop the video now, because I guarantee you I will probably be bringing that up about every 5 minutes for the entire Let's Play. Let's go ahead and be a nice, well-rounded guy with... Yeah, that's good. Oh, wait, I forgot. He's going to need some dex, too. Yeah, leaving him to -4 accuracy is probably not a good idea. That works. Leaving it at -4 accuracy is probably not a solid move for a guy who's going to be a fighter and fight with melee weapons. Let's go ahead and I want to make him an axe. He's a Minotaur, he needs an axe. And here's the Minotaur racial trait, Headhunter. +3 attack power for each skull carried. I know Shaft in the movies, he had a skull hidden inside his afro, right? From that gangbanger he killed. He took, chopped off his head, stripped down to his skull, put it up inside his afro. I saw that part of the movie, didn't you? And then I'd also like to choose healthy. Why healthy as opposed to tough? Even though tough gives you more HP, healthy gives you more vitality. What's interesting is that, particularly in this game, vitality does more than just give you HP. It also helps you fight off harmful conditions, right? So while tough may be more raw HP, vitality will ultimately make you more resistant to diseases, spider bites and crap like that, which I'm sure I'm going to run into. So then we had our next prisoner. This one's going to need to be a rogue, because we're going to go with the classic fighter, rogue mage. This chick, I believe I chose to name her after one of my, actually after my bounty hunter from the Old Republic. That's the name I used as my bounty hunter. I'm pretty sure I just decided to go with Agile, which gives +2 dex and skill, because of all the rogue talents, there's throwing weapons, ranged weapons, dodging, which Corwin here is not going to need, because I'll get to that in a minute. I'll show you the tutorial which will explain some of that. And then daggers and such, everybody wants to be stabby rogue. But assassination, in my opinion, is the key one for rogues, because at 12 points you get reach attack. You can attack with melee weapons from the back row. I think that's really cool, and I want to build to it fast, so I'm going to go heavy into assassination until I get that back attack ability. And last but not least, we need an insectoid spellcaster. And personally, when I first saw this portrait, I felt similar to how I did when I saw that Minotaur up above. And I looked at him and I just saw, an alien ripping itself out of Ripley's chest in one of those Alien movies. And I thought that he kind of looks like a really overly cute face hugger. And I think he does, whether you guys agree or not. I don't give a crap what you people think. I'm playing the game. So I'm going to name him Frag Hugar, which is just a clever role-play speak for face hugger. Because that's what he is. He's an horrible, disgusting-ass alien. And that's all that matters. Aura basically gives him bonus energy. He's going to be a mage, so he's going to need bonus energy. Natural armor, I'll pass. He's a mage. He's not going to need it. He's not going to get hit if things go well. I'm also going to give him skill, because for a mage you really need a lot of skill points. So now, he really doesn't need any dexterity. He needs some vitality though. I'm going to go ahead and get him to 12 on both. So let's see. I want to give him some fire magic, because fire magic can be really useful. Some willpower. Staff defense seems cool, but if you're not going to be in the front row, you don't really need it. And I don't know what else I want to give him. I think I'm going to give him a little ice magic. Give him a little bit of ice magic. And with that, we're going to start the game. Just for some quick backstory before I do start the game, basically the game takes place on Mount Grimrock, the dungeon Grimrock. And the whole backstory is you are a group of nefarious criminals who have been thrown into Mount Grimrock as a test or quote-unquote trial. Basically, it's the good old-fashioned medieval, hey, you're a bunch of guilty assholes, but instead of executing you and being nice about it, we're simply letting you languish in jail forever. what we're going to do is instead we're going to throw you in a dungeon full of psychotic monsters, and if you manage to survive, you get to go free. Isn't that nice? So we can only hope that I'm not too bad at criminals. I think Karkarov there probably beat up a little girl and stole her damn lollipop. Shaft probably ate another cow. Genocide, you know, all that. Hella cannibalism. Who knows what the hell Corwin did? She probably, you know, kicked over somebody's fruit stand into the hallway or something equally stupid. And facehugger's a facehugger, so he probably popped out of somebody's goddamn chest, and, you know, they didn't like that too much. So let's start the game. That's enough backstory for my party and their cool role-play initiatives. I do? Oh, whoops, I forgot to distribute her ability points. Thanks, game. Just in case she does ever get in a situation. You know, a little vitality never hurt anybody. They'll give her a little willpower too. You need to remember willpower also affects your energy, and all actions take energy. So giving somebody that's not a mage a little bit of bonus willpower isn't that bad a thing. It's mages it's most important for, but it's still not that bad a thing. Cool intro go. Mount Grimrock. A towering spire looms above the clouds. A weathered rock that has stood for all ages, longer than histories of men have been written down. It's a desolate place, now only remembered when things need to be discarded and forgotten. Such as my party, those dirty bastards stealing that little girl's lollipop. An airship struggles to gain altitude as it floats toward the peak. We can see it, it's right there. That's a pretty cool image. I actually really like that image there. 4 prisoners, bound by heavy chains, emerge from the ship. The court accuses them of terrible, treasonous deeds, but by the grace of the king, their crimes shall be forgiven atop Mount Grimrock. You know, I don't think what is about to happen really falls as forgiveness. Also, if they were really that horrible crimes, why didn't you just fucking execute them? While that dude on the left there is really fat, I don't think he looks like a minotaur, and that other dude is definitely not a walking insect, but whatever. Their final trials at hand. Numerous prisoners have received their pardons here, yet none have returned to live their life in freedom. At the very top of the world, below them only darkness and just wait. Okay, come on now. If they've received their pardon, why the fuck are you pushing them into a death trap? That doesn't sound like much of a pardon. In fact, I bet you if you asked the prisoners, they'd probably say, no, really, just put me back in jail. It's cool, yo. Plunge down the open wall at the peak. Their crimes are absolved. Really? That always strikes me as funny. Your crimes are absolved. Have fun in hell. Everyone before them has perished in the guts of the mountain, but will you be able to lead them through the dark and to freedom that awaits them at the base of Mount Grimrock? We'll probably find out in roughly 20 to 25 hours, I bet. But yeah, your crimes are absolved. Have fun in this fucking death trap. I mean, Jesus Christ, that doesn't sound much like crimes being absolved to me. Legend of Grimrock. There we go. Splash title. And now we're actually in the game. Tutorials available from the pause menu, accessible by pressing escape. You know what, I'm not really going to pull up the tutorial. Just a quick few things. Basically, you access the character inventories and such by pressing the number key associated with each character. For example, Karkarov, being the first party member, is 1. As you can see, you are really a prisoner. You start with jack crap in your hands, and you have no inventory to speak of. Just so you know, you can change your party's order and marching positions and stuff basically by clicking and dragging. And yes, party order matters. Basically, these 2 guys in the front are facing toward that portcullis, gate, whatever you want to call it. These 2 back here are standing behind those 2 guys. So if anyone were to come at me from the front and attack, it would hit either Karkarov or Shaft. You're damn right. It would not hit Corwin or Facehugger. Now, if someone came at me from my flank, like over there, notice I can right mouse click and look around like that. I can't go further than my full left or my full right, though. I cannot look behind me that way. But if someone came at me from the side, they would, in fact, have a shot at either facehugger or shaft, and over here would be either Karkarov or Corwin. So the facing is important. Also, by doing this, you can turn. Also, movement is the classical WASD. E turns you left, Q turns you right. Pretty straightforward stuff. Whee! Are you dizzy yet? Are you dizzy yet? Tab is the automat. So I've already been through the first floor, so I basically know what I'm getting into here. So this is going to be kind of a boring first part. On the bright side, I've barely been anywhere in the second dungeon. Like, I've been in like 5 steps and that's it. Past that, I have no idea what's coming. One thing I want to point out about this game is that for a little 4-man indie game, it looks pretty damn good. I mean, look at this lighting. It's nice. The dungeon looks good. I really think they did a great job with the appearance and everything. So here we have the first puzzle. Not really a puzzle. So obviously, this being an old school dungeon crawler, I now have to go pull out my manual and get a pencil and spend the next 2 hours translating these Viking runes into actual dialogue. Not quite. You just click on it and boom. Choose your fate. Perish in this cell or pick up the torch. Irony. So I'm sure someone playing this game is obviously just going to choose to sit in the cell until they starve to death, right? I mean, why would you want to pick up the goddamn torch? So we pick up the torch and the door opens. Obviously, light's important because, man, it's pretty dark back there. Kind of hard to see monsters and traps and other crap when it's that dark. So we take our torch, we pop it in old Corwin's right hand, and now we've got a torch. Torches do run out over time, so you obviously have to find more. Fortunately, at least in this first floor, the dungeon seems to be pretty well populated with torches. What I'm curious about, I wonder if you get more light. No, it doesn't look like you get more light for holding more than one torch at a time, so that doesn't seem to serve a purpose. Obviously, here we have a pull chain. You just click on it and you pull it. You can't see my mouse because I've actually turned off that feature in Fraps, which I use to record PC games, but yeah. There are a lot of interactable items in the environment. For example, these piles of crap. Peasant breeches. Peasant's tunic. We'll just slop those on old Karkarov. And on we go after brief interruption. So here we have, I kind of think it looks like a weird ass axe, but it's a cudgel. One thing I'll show you real quick, which is cool. You mouse over and you get information about items, right? So I know the peasant's tunic weighs 0.5 kilograms. This game is made in Europe, so yes, they don't use pounds. Metric system, people, metric system. It exists even in fantasy worlds. So I know that Karkarov here, with his 15 strength, can tote 60 kilograms. I bet Shaft can do a little better. He can only do 69, which is sort of funny considering he has 18 strength, 3 more strength. Their HPs are pretty similar too. Like, he only beats him by 12 HP, but beats him by like 5 vitality. So the stats aren't that huge a difference, but you know, obviously certain stats are more important. Anyway, we're giving the mace to old Shaft here because that doesn't seem like a Karkarov-y weapon. Everybody knows I love swords, right? So Karkarov is going to use a sword, but we're going to give this mace to Shaft. He's one bad motherfucker. Even with a stone on a stick. We're just going to gather all our torches on the rogue Corwin there. I actually kind of like turning this way. It feels a little more organic than the Q and E. But you can also strafe, of course, by using the A and D buttons. So what do we got here? It's a pressure plate. I don't know why the game angles me down on certain pressure plates like this one. I don't know why it does that, but whatever, it does. So it's a pressure plate. Obviously, it opens the gate slash portcullis. You can shoot me for mispronouncing that later. At the end of the hall. But of course, as I step off it, it closes. So this seems like a pretty easy one to figure out. First, you can click and drag. So we got this rock here, so I pick it up. I move forward, and I can drop it. And now the pressure plate's covered. Here's the thing, though. I don't really want to drop that rock. I'm going to give that to Corwin until she has a decent weapon she can use. Instead, we're just going to toss down one of these torches. There'll be more. Torches are a lot more common than weapons you can throw at people. And yes, a rock is a weapon. I'll prove it to you. Rock throwing weapons. Attack power 5. Also, you attack by right-clicking on the icon. For example, right-clicking on Shaft's cudgel. Woo! He swings away at air. Karkarov tries to punch. Oxygen. So on and so forth. You can even attack with a torch, but since Corwin's in the back row, she can't reach. However, the rock works. What's cool about this game is that when you walk over an item you attack with, you can auto re-equip it, as you just saw. Just so you know, to cast spells, you basically right-click on a hand, and then you have to click on the various runes. I'm sure that is actually a spell, but I sure as hell don't know what it does, and probably don't have the skill to cast it. But basically, yeah, you click on this. Like this is, I know for a fact that this is a fire spell. So I do that. Boom. I just discovered the spell Fire Burst. There's a scroll pretty early here in the game that teaches you that spell, so I knew that spell existed. But yeah, as you move along, you pick up different stuff. Another cool thing to point out is this. Like I right click, miss. Notice how he went gray for a bit. That means he's taken a recent action. Once a character has taken an action, there's a certain cooldown timer. It's based a lot on that character's dexterity stat, I think. I think dexterity has a small play in it. Yep. Move quickly and perform maneuvers that demand accuracy or keen eye. Also, it's affected by your weapon. For example, Shaft is using this cudgel, which is, you know, maybe not that fast with a speed of 10. Corwin only has rocks, which is a speed of 12. So obviously she can throw rocks faster than he can swing with that cudgel. But anyway, so this is the key, and there's a locked door. Let's go ahead and open it up. Another locked door. Loose rock. You actually saw this area in the little demo footage I played. See, you can see the loose rock right there. Just for the record, when the forums for this game first opened up, I straight up asked the Almost Human devs if it would be cool to do a Let's Play, Iron Key, and they said, yeah, it's cool. We're glad to have people make videos of our games, and we're all about that. And they're really cool guys. They're very communicative with their gamers and the fans of their game, and personally, a lot of devs could learn from that. But to make a long story short, they said it was cool to do a Let's Play. They did have one request, though. They wanted spoiler tags and such for big puzzle solutions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to one-up that a bit. If I get to a point where there is a big puzzle solution, as opposed to showing the puzzle solution, all I'm going to do is instead do a fade out and a fade back in after I've solved it. Note things like, if you put a torch in this sconce, a door will open. That doesn't seem like a big puzzle to me, so I'm not going to edit out things like that. Things like loose rock and there's a blatant freaking rock thing on the wall. You know, those are not big puzzles. Like things like this. Oh shit, there's a slug. I lured you into that, didn't I? But you get the idea. So when I get to a real puzzle, like something that's major, I am going to do a fade in, fade out. But on most things, I'm just going to keep it pretty simple. So let's start her up. got owned, you stupid slug. And see, I'll automatically pick up those rocks on Corwin. What was it I picked up? It was snail slice. It's a consumable. Basically, it's food, is what it is. And you do see the food meter. Yellow, you're hungry, but there's no penalties. Red, you better eat some damn food. So here's some more loot. Pair of leather boots. I'll give those to old Shaft. Pair of leather pants. Shaft needs those leather pants for his massive carriage he's got going on there. He's got to have some pimp pants to keep that all secure. Meanwhile, we have to realize that the rogue Corwin is basically completely freaking naked except for a torch and a bunch of rocks, so I imagine Facehugger especially is getting uncomfortable at this development. But here's a switch. We'll continue. Here's an actual throwing knife. Good stuff. So go ahead and put that throwing knife on her. And sure enough, then we can re-equip those rocks. I know I saw another snail over there, so where did it go? There it is. Just so you know, God, Jesus Christ, Karkarov, land a fucking hit. Experience is determined by contribution. In other words, everybody gets experience regardless. Like, I killed that snail and got 60 EXP. If you had contributed to the kill, meaning you did something to that snail to help it die, you got EXP. You got the full 60 EXP. If you did nothing to help kill that snail, like, say, Karkarov, I don't know if it would have counted because he swung and missed, so I don't know if that had counted or not. But let's just say, like, Facehugger here was out of energy and couldn't cast a spell. Pitroot bread. Imagine pitroot bread is more healthy food. It's also lighter. So let's say Facehugger is just out of energy and he doesn't have the spell power to contribute to a kill. He would still get EXP, but he would only get half EXP, from what I've seen. Whee! So we've got an obvious pressure plate with a trap in front of us and some kind of key probably. To close the pit, something needs to fly. That's kind of an obvious one, to be honest. This is kind of self-explanatory here. You got to throw something across the pit. This torch is probably getting light, so just so you know, if you drag something up top of your screen, instead of being dropped, it will be thrown. So here we go. An iron key. We'll put that in old Karkarov's right hand. But before we proceed first, where's the keyhole? Oh my God, there it is. Sometimes there's a keyhole on the wall, sometimes it's actually in the door. This is a game where, you know, that mouse look feature is there for a reason. Use it. There's a lot of hidden things and a lot of stuff you're just not going to see if you don't look for it. So here we go. Here's Facehugger's favorite food, maggot on a stick, baked maggot. Let's go ahead and let him carry it. More rocks. A pair of winged sandals. We touch the feet of Hermes. And a pair of winged sandals appears. A loincloth for Corwin. Finally, the men will stop staring. And I think that's all that's in here. Facehugger's the only guy left who's just leaving it all hanging out, but then again, he's an insect, so what has he got to hang out anyway? By the way, if you don't get my winged sandals joke, you fail as a human being. Just saying. So, here we go. A door. No obvious way of entering. Kill my sight. Okay, so obviously we need to get something to put in the guy's eye sockets. It's a good idea to take every torch you find. If you do run into the rare thing where it's like, put a torch in this sconce to open the way, you know, you can always just use one of your torches for that. But it's a good idea to take the torches because you never know when your turn current torch will go out. And look, it's mushroom people. We're not Smurfs. We don't want your kind here. Oops, I forgot my back's to a wall now. Oops, actually again. Where did that other one go? Oh, there's three there. Down you go. So this game is very action-based. Obviously, you can game the system a little bit by moving around. I can lure this guy into following me. And he just ultimately walks into it. What in the world was that he dropped? Herder cap. I guess those things are herders, is what they would be called then. But yeah, you can lure those guys into attacking you, and as you lure them in, you can basically strafe around them side to side and attack them while they're trying to catch you. That's a part of the strategy. That may seem a little silly and a little old school, but that's, you know, one of the things of the Dungeon Master style real-time combat. There's a little bit of gaminess to it, and that's okay. So, the Grimcap is a delicious mushroom commonly found in damp underground caves. The legendary Master Chef of Northampton Palace, what a fine place that must be, values them highly as an important ingredient in his finest soups. Master Chef. Not Master Chief. Not the Master Chef in WoW that lives in a troll village. This one's from Northampton Palace. Whoops, I accidentally clicked an extra symbol, and you see what that caused. It caused my spell to blow up in my face and do nothing. I think I probably screwed Facehugger out of some experience there. My bad, Facehugger. My bad. Another Grimcap. Here we have a tar bead. Tar bead. Rare herb. Rare herb that grows in swamps and other moist areas, known for its potent healing properties. Okay. There's a switch. And back here was a little area with a portcullis. A gate, if you will. Blue gem. It's a blue gem. I bet that's one of the things. Also, being thorough pays off. Again, I think that's pretty obvious. If you looked, you would see it. And look at that. A little secret room. A straight up dagger. Dagger, attack power 7, accuracy +5, speed 20. That's pretty damn fast. Whereas this was attack power 5, speed 16 with no accuracy bonus. So that crappy knife is nowhere near as cool as the actual dagger. Another tar bead. And some cave nettle. So cave nettle, a fairly common herb that flourishes in dark places, used to treat snake bites and such. There's some way you can do alchemy in this game where you combine items, but I don't know how that is done yet. We'll get to that later. Yeah, that tile looked a little different, but I'm just imagining it. Obviously, paying a lot of attention and being really thorough is going to get you a lot of benefits in this game. That's all I'll say about that. So, we've obviously got a pit trap. There's a switch. Oh, crap. You scared the patootie out of me. Let's not screw the face hugger this time. You got rolled. I want to stick with the rocks for a minute just because it's easier. See nothing here. Bear in mind, I'm going at this pretty quick. I've already... Oh, I forgot about that. I'm just going to go toe-to-toe with these guys because they're not that hard to beat. What's up with that, you know? And there's the other gem. And here we see a little rock slice. Oh, God! Oh, God! That's what you do that for. Now, here's the trick. Obviously, I can't just walk through there. So how do we get through this? Well, it's actually pretty darn simple. We simply have to make some room. Again, we've got a mostly falling out torch. We'll just put a new torch in my hand. So now that switch is depressed down, right? It can't be depressed down again. It's already depressed. And there we go. Simple as that. Another snail. Ugh. Some more loot. Now we got a loin cloth for face hugger. A tattered cloak. I think I will give that to her. Willpower -1, attack power +1. One of the most confident warriors can be seen on the battlefield wearing nothing but this garment. You know, then again, maybe I won't give that to Facehugger. I'll give that to Karkarov. He can wear the damn loincloth. And we'll give the peasant pants to Facehugger. It's another rock. Cool beat. Oh, no, don't drop your rocks. And there's the Scroll of Fireburst. You can learn spells from scrolls, like that one tells you how to cast Fireburst, but you still have to have the appropriate skill level to cast it. That's kind of important. So now we're almost done with this, the first floor of the dungeon. What do we got left? Well, first we got to put the eyes in the thingy-ding. And get stabbed in the side of the face by a damn skeleton. Ooh, he got owned. Now we get some cool stuff. shield for him. And see, this is where that mouse look helps out. And we'll have a spear for her. We'll just give this crap ton of rocks to him. That way she can attack, because I'll show you, spears have reach, meaning she can attack from the back row with that legionary spear. She doesn't need to be in the front row for that. And he got the legionary shield, which gives him evasion. Notice that the shield doesn't give armor, it gives evasion. But he's running pretty good on evasion right now with a 14. He's running definitely better on protection with 7, but he can't evade for shit. Now she's running really good on evasion, because she's got that cloak. And I think she has a really high dex too. She has 18 dex, yeah. That makes a big difference as well. So here's an obvious, big, important door. I like to have my mage carry all my scrolls. Great rewards can be found behind these doors. To gain access, look carefully for small details and use your wits. And of course, then you turn left and you see an obvious small detail. Again, this is one of those puzzles that's like really entry-level stuff. I don't think it's worth hiding. You know, it wasn't really hard to figure that out, especially with a freaking scroll sitting there blatantly telling you what to do. So, it's a whitewood wand. Wands are good for casters because they give bonus energy and you can use them to cast spells. So let's read about it. Scroll. This magical staff is a powerful weapon when wielded by a potent mage. I don't know that I would say Facehugger is potent. Maybe if he gets to burrow inside you first. But he's definitely a good stand-in for now. Now we have giant freaky blue thing. And a scroll, which explains what the giant freaky blue thing is for. Touch to regain health and restore life. Crystal of life. Obviously, this is one of those things that will literally resurrect you. If you hit that crystal, it will res you. I'm not going to do it because look at my party. They're pretty much full on HP. They're pretty much full on energy. You do regen health and energy over time. So I don't really have a need to use that. And that's one of those things where I have a feeling it would be better if you left them as they are. Because later on you may need that crystal, and if you use it, I'm pretty sure you lose it, you know what I'm saying? So that is a scroll of Poison Cloud. It requires Earth Magic 3. I don't have Earth Magic squat, so I can't cast that spell. And down we go. First level. Into the Dark. Completed. At this point, I think I'm going to stop the video for now, and we'll pick up a little bit later where we'll continue with the mighty adventures of Team Karki in the Mount Grimrock. And we'll find out if Karkarov can get some actual pants, or if he's condemned to wearing a loincloth, or if maybe Corwin will put a shirt on so Shaft stops staring at her and thinking about that one time back when he was in Jersey, and you know, let's not really go there. Saving the game. Karki won. That's what it's about. Alright peeps, have fun. I will see you next time.